seems that those with type O blood are greatly protected. And this is not, these aren't just rumors. This is published in peer-reviewed journals. You could speak to a doctor. If there's a doctor online, he could correct me or confirm this. So if you know the type of blood you have, it's kedai to know. It's very telling for protection. You don't want to talk to me about COVID. I'm not a medical.
You're Rabbi Reich when COVID, so it would have been nagea.
The shilas. I'm sure Rabbi Lowy could give 10 drushes just on the gishmakish shilas. Like someone asked me, the Shulchan Aruch says that you have to be able to hear your voice when you daven, when you say Shemana Esrei, and when you say brachas. But when you're wearing a mask, you can't hear it. It's a very similar shilah. People who are deaf. Someone else asked me, our shul, a lot of young Israels did this. More modernish shuls did this. We had virtual minyanim. So when we didn't have shul, we all daven zusammen online. Now, it's garnished mit nicht. What are you doing? It's not a minyan. There's no kaddish. So what's the maila? Happened to be, there is a shtickle of a maila. Or Scheinberg used to daven vasikin that way. But there are so many interesting shailas with laning and kriyas HaTorah and haftarah. And Baruch Hashem, my shul, they asked a lot of geshmak shailas. So for that, it was a lot of fun. COVID. I mean, it was very interesting to shailas.
I just want to finish with one big shaila that we're struggling with in Toronto, and it needs a beer. I think the whole world is struggling to get a pshitus to the shaila. We're not asking about if you have to make a parshias. Those are all important shailas for Rabbonim. But the most important shaila to us is, are we mechuyev to be mashlim all of the kadeshim that we missed, and all the lachaims and the tikkens that we missed? Is there a chiv to make up all of those?
I mean, I'm not going to answer that shaila. At tikkun lachayim yartzeit, there's not even a real maimer chazal that discusses yartzeit. There's one maimer chazal that is mashma. Toronto had a great ilui in Nizin Yonim Smachos, who just moved to Lakewood, Rabbi Aaron Levine. I think he down by the Agudah. No? Down by the Agudah? Maybe Ken sign? I don't know.
He down there. Sure.
Aaron Levine, when it comes to Yana yard sites and Kaddish, is he's unbelievable. I call him at least. I remember once I have a chaver who's more modern. He learns in Harvard now, and he wrote a blog making fun. Rabbi Aaron Levine came out with a sefer called Kol B'Le Yard Site, 2 volumes, encyclopedia on yard site, and he was making fun on his blog from Harvard about the Kol B'Le Yard Site. And I wrote to him. I said, "What are you talking about? There's no inyan, there's no sugya that a rav gets asked more shilas than these in Yonim, like you're asking about miskadeshim. I don't know, miskadeshim.
No, I didn't mean the kaddish. I mean the kiddush.
Oh, the kiddush. the Sifrei Kabbalah say you have 3 days before and 3 days after. That's all I know. In my shul, the Shabbos grada.
No, the shaila was mainly, can we go after all the people who would have normally given kiddush? Can we mourn for them to be mashlim the kiddush?
I was answering you seriously. Oh yeah, Hashem Yerachem. Yes, 20 bourbons, 30 scotches, 10 rye, and a lot of herring. I just, by the way, Yosy, we have a problem in our shul because in New York, a lot of people are away for the summer. So we're looking for Balei Kriya. So I actually said that because people can't sponsor Kiddushim now and Shalosh Shudas, they should use that money instead to sponsor Balei Kriya. It should be an aliyah for the Neshama. But throughout the COVID crisis, Kemat every Erev Shabbos, a balabas dropped some schnapps, some kichel, and some herring by my front door to do a dikun. I didn't eat the herring, but I drank the schnapps.
I know the LCBO is suffering terrible because we don't give Kiddush anymore in the Agudah.
The frum community supports the LCBO very well. You still have the LCBO in Canada? You're not allowed to have, people can't sell drinks privately? Oh yeah, Shem Yerachim. The new thing now is hashgachas on scotches and rye. Have you seen that in Canada? Does the COR give hashgachas now to schnapps?
I don't know. I just asked the Rav. Whatever the Rav says, we do.
It's become, I'll tell you a story. I know you probably have to go. When I was in Buffalo, so I get a call from a farm. And the BVK, we could always use extra money. So a farm calls us up. They grow tomatoes. And they said, we want to get a hashgacha. I said, but you grow tomatoes. I mean, what do you want a hashgacha for? So he said, but you don't understand. The way it works in supermarkets is if you're organic, they have a check. So if you're organic and if you're kosher and if you're whatever, hydroponic, it's a whole shaila of what bracha to make on it. But every check is a greater chance you get into Wegmans and Tops and Publix and whatever.
I know. I'm gonna finish.
So I spoke to my advisor, which is my wife, and I said, what should I do? And she said, if you start giving hashgachas on tomatoes, then in 10 years from now, if people don't see hashgacha on tomatoes, they're not gonna, the chad gadget is gonna be, no, the OU is gonna start giving hashgachas on tomatoes, everybody else is gonna give hashgacha on tomatoes. But in America, that's what we're holding now. In most shuls, right now, at least in Queens, they only accept, most shuls only accept a whiskey that's been approved by hashgacha, not simply because of Pesach issues, Chamachav Pesach issues, Stam hashgacha issues. That's why I'm asking you if the COR is now giving hashgacha. Hi, Baruch Hashem, not.
I want to thank Rabbi Taub very much for coming on, and at this point, the Rav always gives a bracha to the guest for coming on. So I want to give it over to the Rav.
Oh, the Rav.
Moshe, remembering you as a young boy when you were growing up, you still have the same talent, Baruch Hashem, and the same chachma, and Baruch Hashem, we're very close to your families, and you really Mahanad Olam. We could have had you for another hour. You really should be zeicha. Your daughter should find a shirchis. You should have panosa. You should be able to study and write svarim and write more divrei Torah and more articles. And together with your wife and your whole family, your father and your in-laws and the whole family should see nachas. And together we should see only bracha and simcha and panosa and kol tov by everyone. Thank you very much.
Amen. I wanted to say that we miss Toronto very much. Kol tov, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on. We really enjoyed it.
Rabbi Lowy, it was kedai to come on just to hear you. Bemis.
Thank you. Regards.
Kol tov.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Taub.
After Anta Mincha, Kol tov.
Okay, thank you. And now we are going to break because Rabbi Finkel is about to start his shir. So whoever wants to listen to the shir quietly, please stay. And the rest of us, we can go daven mincha ma'ariv. Shkoyach habayis and have a good evening.
Hi, Rabbi Taub. I heard the interview was great. I saw snippets of it. I was in and out. I had to host here. But I just wanted to share personally, even though it's not publicly, that thank you for all the times that I stopped in Buffalo to be able to daven. I also want to thank you that for the articles that you write. And what I would have said it, I was on the show and I'm going to tell it to you now, is that I start the magazine from the end because I can't go through the ads on Shabbos, just pasnished. A, I can't afford them, and B, to look at slices of meat early in the morning is kind of nauseating. So I started from the end. Streets of Life is there, but I usually skip it. I want to go to the lowest common denominator, which is Rabbi Moshe Taub. Once I understand that my wife hasn't written in any letters for this week, I'm okay, and I go through it. Then I have to skip over your SHul Chronicles because it's too cerebral. I'll go to Streets of Life, and then maybe